Well, Terminator 3 was a colossal fucking letdown, so why not produce a fourth film with another new director, another completely revamped cast, and without the actor who made the series a hit in the first place? Sounds like a spiffing idea! Production of a third Terminator sequel actually began in 1999, 4 years before the release of Part 3. The original plan was for the third and fourth films to be produced back to back, with the third one showcasing the first attacks between the humans and Skynet, and the fourth primarily focused on the war with the machine shown in the first two films. After the release of Terminator 3, producers Andy Vania and Mario Kessa immediately greenlit a fourth, initially approaching Warner Brothers to help with financing before eventually switching to MGM. Unfortunately, due to a feud between Vania and Kessa, production stalled, and in 2007, the rights reverted to the Halcyon Company, who hoped that the movie would be the first in the start of a new trilogy. However, the project was put in limbo again after MGM started a legal dispute with Halcyon over the distribution rights to the franchise. In the end, the dispute was settled and the rights to the film was shared between Halcyon, Warner Brothers and Sony, who between them spent around $160 million on the rights, and at long last, the fourth Terminator film could finally begin production.
If it works, it's incredible.
Originally, Jonathan Mostow, who directed Part 3, was contracted to come back before the director's chair was given to McG, as he was a huge fan of the first two films, but not the third one. Nobody was a big fan of the third one.
I'm not looking for a second chance.
He even met with James Cameron whilst he was filming Avatar to get his advice, and while Cameron neither blessed nor condemned the project, he stated that McG would be facing the same challenges he had encountered when following Alien with Aliens, and even recommended Sam Worthington for the role of Marcus. Wow, his bank account must have looked sick in 2009.
I hope he's listening to this.
The first full draft of the screenplay was written by John Bracanto and Michael Ferris, who also wrote Part 3, but a number of different writers ended up contributing to the script, including Paul Haggis, Sean Ryan, and even Jonathan Nolan, the latter being the one to come up with the idea of John Connor's character arc revolving around becoming a leader. Unfortunately, due to the Writers Guild of America strike, Nolan was forced to drop out of the project due to other commitments, and his work on the script for Salvation went uncredited.
It's not your choice to make!
The script also went through many changes. Originally, John Connor was more of a secondary character, with the story revolving more around the character of Marcus, before Nolan's rewrites placed Connor back into the centre of the film. The original ending was also much more depressing, and would have featured John dying, at which point Marcus grafts his skin onto his body before murdering the entire supporting cast. However, after this ending was leaked onto the internet, the entire third act was changed before filming could finally begin. John Connor dying in a Terminator film. That's a stupid idea.
What are you saying?
In regards to casting, Christian Bale was the first choice for John, but he actually turned down the role 3 times before accepting. He felt that the franchise had already worn itself out by that point, and he also felt that McG wasn't talented enough to make a Terminator movie. Well, to be honest, mate.
Thanks.
In the end, the director convinced Bale to give him a chance, and after seeing the planned journey of the character, he eventually agreed.
Magic.
Filming began in May 2008 in New Mexico on an insane budget of $200 million, but the production was quickly plagued by problems. Sudden changes in filming locations, delays caused by the actors and writers' strikes, Bale and Worthington injuring themselves whilst filming stunts, Christian Bale verbally abusing people on set. In addition, Mike Minardes, one of the film's visual effects artists, nearly lost his leg when filming an explosion. The sequence required a manhole cover to be blown into the air, but it went off course and nearly severed his leg. Furthermore, Helena Bonham Carter's character was originally much more prominent in the script, but after 4 of her family members were tragically killed in a minibus crash in South Africa, she was given indefinite leave in order to mourn her lost relatives. So after a production full of deaths, almost deaths, and on-set meltdowns, Terminator Salvation finally heaved its way into cinemas on May the 21st, 2009. Despite being planned as the first of a new trilogy, the movie only grossed $371 million worldwide, prompting the cancellation of further direct sequels, and reviews were mixed at best, praising the visuals but criticising the storytelling, many feeling that the franchise was starting to get stale. Arnold Schwarzenegger initially said that he was excited to see the movie, even originally calling it a great film, but later stated it was awful. It tried hard, not that they didn't try, the acting and everything. It missed the boat. Ah, I see Arnold went to the James Cameron school of changing his fucking mind.
Calm down, you're not helping.
Linda Hamilton also said, I think the series was perfect with 2 films. It was a complete circle and it was enough in itself, but there will always be those who will try to milk the cow. So see you again in a few films' time.
Good.
James Cameron, on the other hand, said, it's an interesting film. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to, but the series has run its course. Frankly, the soup's already been pissed in by other filmmakers. So see you again in a few films' time.
Good.
Well, I mean, clearly the franchise is going to go downhill now. I mean, after Terminator 3, I just don't see how... Could it be? No. Now they're trying to trick me. I'm not falling for your games. Alright, I can't lie. These opening titles are fucking insane. They really do get you amped up for the action. Admittedly, as explained, Helena Bonham Carter isn't in a lot of the film, but she does a really good job when she does appear. She is brilliant.
So that's what death tastes like.
Tim Burton's cock. And apparently in the distant future of 2018, we all live in a 1990s Nintendo 64 video game.
Why didn't we know about this?
I will say I'm quite shocked at the reception of this movie, considering the sheer amount of new things it's willing to try. Now, of course, just because you do something different doesn't necessarily mean it's good, but all of the changes and new things that they try in this movie, in my opinion, are really interesting. This one actually takes place during the huge war. Surprised it took 4 movies to think of doing that, but it's completely fresh material. It would just get repetitive when it's the exact same going back to try to protect John over and over again.
Should I tell you about your father? Will it affect your decision to send him back in time to protect me?
Oh, god damn it! Well, at least they'll never do it again after this film. Well, you can't. But it's pretty cool to see this big war that's been hyped for 3 movies finally take place. I've heard the argument that what made the war so exciting was the mystery, that we don't actually see it, which is a fair criticism, but I personally love seeing it finally happen. They even give us a giant Terminator! Fucking hell, we've never seen this before! Bloody Iron Giant son of a bitch over here! Sam Worthington plays a guy called Marcus, but it turns out he's part human, part machine, but he wasn't even aware. This is completely new and a damn cool idea. It's like Buzz Lightyear, but the horror sci-fi version. There's a damn Terminator alien thing attacking people. The fight scenes are all different too. They're not trying to rehash any previous movies. And Marcus's desperation to find out who turned him into this machine is such a cool and sympathetic way to handle the character. It's a completely different take to the series. Worthington gives such a great performance as this tortured soul, and I am so behind this motivation, with some great dialogue to add to it.
You did what Skynet has failed to do for so many years. You killed John Connor.
The visuals do look insane. You can tell that they took full advantage of the increase in technology with some of these special effects. The music is really intense for the action, and it's generally an extremely well-produced film. It's so sick watching the humans trying desperately to find new ways to eliminate the machines. The production design is nuts as the buildings get destroyed. It all looks great. There's some insane long shots with some truly incredible cinematography, perfectly choreographed. The chase scenes look amazing, but one issue I do have is that everything is just grey. I mean, I get it makes sense for a post-apocalyptic landscape, but it's just bland and boring and gets very tedious and ugly to look at after a while. Look, all you had to do was this! See? You can pay me here. Wasn't hard, guys.
I don't believe in prophecy.
You're in the wrong franchise then, mate.
Not when one can rewrite the future.
Ah, there we go. Christian Bale, as always, is amazing in this, although I'm pretty sure for most of it he's just doing his Batman voice.
Why 4 days? Yeah. We're on the same page. Because my men died down in that hole. What did we find down there?
Linda Hamilton gets a brief cameo as John listens to her message from the original film while they continue to try to justify the time travel bullshit, which still makes no sense. The movie was also way ahead of its time. Considering this was before The Force Awakens, this was before you got a legacy sequel every other week, this movie shows you how to do nostalgic throwbacks the right way.
Come with me if you want to live.
What should I tell your men when they find out you're gone?
I'll be back.
That was so badass! Nailed it! And when Arnold shows up, with some really bad CGI de-aging.
Oh man, what the fuck is up with your face, yeah?
It's such a cool moment as he tries to take out John. I mean, the logical way for this movie to end would obviously be John sending Kyle back to the original film. You'd think. Be pretty cool. Never happens. Doesn't make any sense.
Good.
But why does Kyle Reese look like such a giant nerd? He was so cool in the original film. Why do movies keep turning badass heroes into complete losers? Even the movie makes him look like the annoying, nerdy little brother. And the dialogue doesn't make any sense.
You point a gun at someone, you better be ready to pull the trigger.
So you pull the trigger then. You're holding the gun. Practice what you preach, you idiot!
You point that gun at somebody, you better be ready to pull the trigger.
But you're also holding a gun and not pulling the trigger! Stop saying the line! It makes no fucking sense! There's also this little kid who is completely pointless. She just lingers around the movie for no reason. She just spends the whole film aimlessly following people around.
No!
Why are you in my scene? Get out! The movie does have a funny moment though.
The idea is to stay alive. I'm driving.
Sometimes unintentionally, like when this guy's body falls and then skims across the water. I do find it weird that they claim the original script focused more on Marcus and not John, so they changed it, because I feel like the final draft still focused more on Marcus and not John, which is another issue. Other than them, I don't really care for any of the other characters, except maybe Kyle, but that's only because of the original film and not this one. And has anyone ever noticed that Bryce Dallas Howard seems to always look different in every movie she's in? Like, not the acting performance, just physically, it's very weird.
What you ask for will undermine the whole operation.
Skynet has Kyle Reese.
And that is his fate.
No, it's our fate.
I have to save him.
Dude, just say he is your dad. It is not that hard. We have to save him or I die and we're all fucked. It takes 10 seconds. This is another new angle, as John actually goes against orders to try to save Kyle. The humans are turning on each other and disobeying one another despite being on the same team. It gets so intense as he's frantically searching for his dad, and Marcus even chooses to side with the humans. It's such a cool idea. Why do so many people hate this movie again?
Who are you?
I am your son. Admittedly, some of the climax could be slightly trimmed down, but it's nothing major. FYI, I am looking at the director's cut. But the fight between them is still so awesome. Oh, that was a bit anticlimactic. There it is! Wait, didn't lava kill Arnold in Terminator 2? How is this cunt still alive? But Marcus sacrifices himself for the greater good. But then he gets better. Oh. Not really a sacrifice then. But then he sacrifices himself again to save John's life. Huh. Quite a roller coaster. I genuinely really like this movie, and I'm surprised it doesn't get talked about as much. I'm not going to pretend that it's some masterpiece or that it holds a candle to the first two, but I honestly do think it's quite underappreciated. It tries so many new things, and ironically, it shows a lot more humanity than the other sequels. It has great acting, great action, amazing cinematography, and in my opinion, is a fresh take on the franchise. It's just a shame that this one went nowhere, and the bullshit would soon return. Be honest, none of you were expecting that. Neither was I.